But then there's her audience in the comments that clearly are disappointed, as a lot of them were saying, I supported you during the AI thing, I supported you at AX, I supported you when you were calling out this other person for tracing, and now you did this is super disappointing. I think those are the comments that hurt the most. Just have a few artists you're gonna reference from, that way you're not copying somebody. It's okay to look up to other artists, especially bigger ones, but when you only have one inspiration, it's very obvious where it comes from. So at Anime Expo, there's been a huge art scandal that popped up on my feed yesterday. It first started with this comment, spreading awareness on this artist. It's a pretty big artist. Then I found out, hey, I'm following this person, and I started to look into it. If anyone went to Anime Expo and bought from Yurei's booth, I would get a refund as it was stolen and traced from Ask Size. Please support the original artist. And the thing is, that artist, Yurei, this account has like 200k plus followers. It's a huge account. You would think it's legit. But then the other person she traced from actually has like double that amount, so I guess they really looked up to them. And they've apparently admitted to tracing these Robin pieces, the face mostly. I have no excuse for my actions. I will learn and do better, and anyone is free to message me for refunds. So this person even put out a Google Doc. I honestly spiraled yesterday and just emotionally rambled on. I woke up with a clearer mind now that I've talked to friends and updated with the problem. I won't be around to check social media much. I'm sorry once again. Updated, document the problem, I mean. So let's take a quick look to the Google Doc. It's very short. I honestly spiraled yesterday and went on an emotional ramble. I'll still leave it up for transparency as to what I wrote. I woke up and talked to friends and has a clearer mind now. I issued my initial apology regarding the tracing situation, but will still say it here again that I'm truly sorry and already did reach out to the artist I wronged a few days ago. I don't know if I'll try to come back, or maybe in the future I'll feel better and can show everyone that I genuinely changed. With a full time lapse, for sure. I won't ask anyone to believe that I'm writing below either, as I understand the trust has long been breached and the disappointment from this. What you guys don't understand is that that artist is really fucking good. It's really good. So I'm like surprised that they trace somebody else's work. I will, however, be transparent on what I plagiarize and what I still swear by that I did not, despite the overlays floating around that may have looked incriminating. Robin Songbird, face area, Farina Clearwave's face area, Butterfly Himeko silhouette plus face area, Jewelry Raid and silhouette plus face structure. I stand firm that I genuinely did not trace any of the photo card artworks along with the Arlecchino, Archeron, and Navia. If there's any other that weren't clarified, I'm open to questions and emails, as I'm trying to not to be on Twitter just for my own sake, albeit it being unprofessional. As mentioned earlier, I completely understand if you don't believe me, and I'm not asking to gain the trust back with a snap of my finger. Any refunds pertaining to the plagiarized works, please send them to my email, so I'm able to keep track and not get buried under the DMs. So she's making people email her for the refunds, which some people in the replies had some issues with. To help the process be smoother, you can send me pictures of the trace works purchase alongside your original payment transaction number for PayPal if it was done, blah blah. Okay, she's telling how to do this. I can't trace back all that was sold, hence I need help from people who purchased or reached out. I'm really sorry for dropping the ball and disappointing so many people who truly supported me, whether for years or in a moment. Y'all don't deserve this betrayal. As for anyone curious, I've also withdrawn myself from any conventions planned. Probably the right move. Because there's misunderstanding, I want to clarify that the entire gray chunk below was what was written yesterday, and I was completely off emotion alone. Like what I mentioned the first sentence of this post, not deleting because I'm not escaping from what had transpired previously. I'm leaving it here for transparency that I indeed let emotions take control of me before writing things down clearly in public. It's true that I have thought of escaping in simpler terms, but I am in a clearer state of mind to address my responsibilities today. Devil's advocate assumption. Good artists in a slump but needed to produce merch for AX, so they decided to cheat instead of coming empty-handed. That's exactly what happened. Well, that's what she claims happened. She said she got lazy and she like rushed. She was crunched on time, so she started tracing. It's weird because she's mostly tracing faces and not the rest, so maybe she's insecure about the tracing or about her skills. She's really talented, so it's kind of just sad. So somebody pointed this out because I'm starting to follow a lot of industry people that work in the anime because I'm curious about how the conventions work and so on. And apparently in Japan, the price of a convention table is very cheap. It's around maybe like a few hundred yens. In America is about $2,000. So artists have a lot of pressure to make a lot of money. On top of that, the conventions here, sometimes you have to travel to them. There are multiple days, so you gotta book your stays there. Overall, they're very expensive. So there's a lot of pressures on artists to sell commission work. And there was a big discussion about comparing Eastern conventions to Western conventions, where people said that in Japan, artists, they sell a lot original artwork and original mangas because they have time to dedicate themselves on these books and on these mangas and on these stories, and they don't have the pressure of selling a lot of stuff to make up for the money they're spending booking the area. Meanwhile, Western artists, they basically don't create any original artwork or very little. They sell very few mangas, and their business run mostly on people commissioning for like OCs and stuff like that, or doing artworks of popular characters. Conventions are really interesting from a business perspective. Most are not that profitable, but other countries do run them differently. Other countries are more profitable. So this artist, in her last message, she's like extremely emotional. She says saying, "I'm not going to fight or stand up for myself anymore. I was wrong in the first place. And it's only expected that everything will be scrutinized over the slightest bend of the neck, cut and pasted with false evidence because it's funny, because I'm shameless, because I deserve it." Basically complaining that there's some, lies mixed in the bunch. And she says, "I can't defend myself over the chaos because I have no rights to. Saying yes to everything is easier. I thought I could stand by my own words when I said I'll do better, but in the end, I don't think I can do this anymore. You can say I'm gaslighting, pity baiting, whatever you wish to say on threats. I'm sorry this has even happened in the first place, and that I let everyone who believed in me down. Amongst every other thing, for the first time in my life, I haven't left the bed in almost 3 days. I haven't eaten anything. I don't feel anything. I almost felt natural at this point. I don't know how to reply to people who are checking in on me, and I don't deserve the kindness. I don't know how to answer my dad when he asks me what happened to me. I don't know how to tell my mom, who always tells me it'll be fine and brought me my favorite food to cheer me up. I genuinely can't handle it anymore. I don't know how to tell my 2 dogs, who would always be so excited to see me come back home regardless and snuggle to me when they feel something is wrong. I don't have much else to say except please be kind to my mom in the emails and don't harass her before anything happens. She sees them all and I don't want her to be sad, and she is still awake at this moment. Feel free to jump and rejoice because I'm weak and overly sensitive, because I couldn't handle the consequences of my own actions. Feel free to party over my grave with your own newly created anonymous accounts. It'll never affect me anymore once it's over. I'm not asking for anyone's pity. I don't need anyone to feel sorry for me. Thank you for everything. I'm sorry for everything." So that's the document. The new apology was better. The first one, people didn't take it so well. Whoops. The comments, there's hundreds of comments on that thread. Some of them are still being supportive. Some are cooking her. It's hard for me to see which comments were made before she edited her document. Yeah, the first one was more like a trauma dump. Yeah. The thing is, that person really called out other tracers in the past. So here, this is in May 2023, so just a few months ago. And somebody's saying, "Can't believe a local convention here literally traced an artist's artwork for their convention marketing. Don't hold artist allies if you can't even respect artists." And then she replies, "Is it EOI? I saw the pic and thought it looked familiar." Yes, EOI's shame for real. How did they think this would fly? Not them selling tables to artists while simultaneously tracing from one. Why couldn't they just commission an artist to make art for them? Nothing screams artist support more than actual supporting artists. Organizer when they actually have to support artists. And then she replies saying, "Did you see the story screenshot comment someone left under his post? Person who traced has like 0 remorse." but then she kind of just does the same thing. So obviously her fans are extremely pissed and feel really betrayed. Sorry, but his response is very victimizing. You did something bad and disappointed many people who love your art. I'm sorry your mom is sad, but it is your responsibility. The mom sad part is sad. Please take a break until you clear your mind. A statement like this shouldn't be made in panic. I've been watching from the sidelines. I like to say I hope you will improve your well-being. I still do find it hypocritical that you called out the person who doubted your art and made a very big thread without censoring the name. Did you also not think about how they feel? So recently they've also been in another thing where somebody accused them of using AI, and she made a very big deal about it, very big thread, and kind of called them out, and her huge fan base turned against that person, obviously. So people are, you know, heartbroken. I'm heartbroken. I bought stuff at your booth on Dokomi, bought stuff for my friends too. Finding out you trace your art is heartbreaking and makes me regret spending money on your booth. There was also a comment saying she didn't respect the line rules at AX. Her booth was jam-packed, by the way. Like, she sold a lot. She sold a lot. Plagiarizing, gives half-ass apology, doubles down on a self-victimizing document. Truth is, everyone is gonna come after you unless you fully take responsibility for your actions by completely stopping selling at conventions and taking down your art store. I mean, she did. She canceled her conventions. Maybe that was after this comment. Apparently her art store online is still up. This is a reply from the person she had a spat where they accuse her of using AI. He says, I apologize for my initial behavior. I apologize for the accusation. You publicized private business matters. You singled out and leveraged your following against me. I've not gotten my money back. You're still not acknowledged the wrongs you've committed towards me. He's been mocked, shamed, and labeled as a scammer and has been buried by the controversy. Please be sincere. Also, to the artist who decided to out both this account and my other, which contained selfies, I hope you reflect on your actions. I would hope you also apologize for doing so and acting as though nothing happened. Even if you choose not to, please just don't repeat what you did. So basically another case of hypocrisy. So her fan base, there was a lot of comments that hurt to read. You know, there's like the usual dogpiling comments and the people kind of jumping on the bandwagon, right? That have nothing to do with it. But then there's her audience in the comments that clearly are disappointed, as a lot of them were saying, I supported you during the AI thing. I supported you at AX. I supported you when you were calling out this other person for tracing, and now you did this. This is super disappointing. I think those are the comments that hurt the most. And apparently she got called out in the past. This person says artists like her probably don't even care about being caught, since apparently there has already been another post about her last year. But it was swept under the rugs by her friend, but I hope her supporters know that she's profiting by stealing the work of other people. There was also some people saying that this is a stretch, you know, somebody doesn't own a profile, like the profile pose, and that, yeah, some people are arguing against the tracing allegations. They didn't really linger on it too much though. I mean, she admitted to it, so I think if she admits to it, that's it, right? And then there's this other artist, really big account, again, saying, I keep getting DMs about an artist that heavily influences their style and model off my own, and all I want to say is I spoke to them in private months ago. They don't seem they want to cooperate and deny copying or heavily referencing posts, faces, models. I can only do so much. If they read this, I want to ask them kindly to please be mindful and move on with their own style. I'm flattered they like my art to the point of wanting to replicate as much, but there is always a limit. To them and all of other artists looking to build their own style, my personal suggestion is having 3 or 4 main artist influence that you learn from so that you can develop your unique style without risking it'll look like it's copying one specifically. This is kind of the same advice people were giving Small Lola, to have like a few sources of inspiration, and I do think it's a good advice. But what the hell is going on in the artist world? Other side of the spectrum is someone making original art but copying a style. You can't win. I'm wondering if it's oh, you know this artist? I wonder if Riku's talking about this person, but I wasn't able to confirm it. So if anybody knows who Riku's mentioning here, please let me know. Oh yeah, there's more, sorry. I remember now. They showed up on my TL last night. I was just so confused how they could get away with heavily referencing just like that. I say heavily referenced, but I did some digging and most of their stuff is traced. Sorry you have to deal with that. I have every right to be upset. You have every right to be upset. I'm also saying copying, but a bunch of stuff was traced and there was intentions of selling the traced work. I really wouldn't go as far as tweeting if it wasn't this problematic. I've seen many artists use your style, it's not isolated. This was not the point. Yeah, so it's not really just referencing or inspiration or being inspired by somebody. Although it is misleading because she says, you know, just have a few inspiration. But I think they're just trying to be nice and professional because there is tracing and copying apparently. And somebody made this graph, which is pretty good. So this is reference. It's different, but it's inspired by. This is highly referenced, which is almost the same. It's side by side. You probably had the picture up while you drew it. And this is traced, where, you know, you put your page on top of their page and you traced over it. Riku's talking about Yuki Arts. Now I want to look it up. Thank you. I found an account, but it's very small. Is it really them? It has like 10 followers. I feel like they wouldn't care. He got tweeted with pictures and videos of the traced art. Riku does? Oh, they've protected their tweets. Oh wait, I'm gonna look at Riku's profile then. I missed that. Dear Riku. Oh my god, we're investigating live on stream. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, I see it. Pull it up since it's relevant. Since this person's response was to tweet a time-lapse of them drawing art from scratch trying to prove their art is genuine, I have decided to speak up. Callouts are my last option. I do absolute best to resolve over DMs. I will not tolerate nonsensical hate or threats. I do respect that they've tried everything to resolve this over DMs though. From everybody we've covered so far, I think this artist is the most professional. I will not tolerate nonsensical hate or threats over them. This post is in hopes they do better. At Yuki Arts, oh, they follow me, has been copying and occasionally tracing what I make live on stream. I spoke to them back in March, but denied ever since, covering it up as inspiration. And even though I blocked them on both Twitter and Twitch, somewhat they managed to draw a piece dangerously close to whatever I made that day. Here is an example of overlapping the fan art I drew on stream on 2206, and shortly after she posted whips of it. Next proof of me sketching on stream a few days later. Their piece is posed in the same angle, pose mannerism. The background of that piece is the same composition I used for the final artwork, yellow plus flat lines and silly pink hoodie doodles. You can absolutely argue it's not one-on-one traced because they are able to draw. Still my point stands, it's copied, so it's not traced. I thought we were gonna see some trace stuff. Oh, that's the original? And that's the new one? Yeah, it's Raora. So these people are from the VTubing community, like, it's close. I didn't know Riku was a VTuber. Wait, so that's Yuki's thing, and this is... I don't get this one. This is the doodle, this is Yuki's thing, but this one's way more finished than this. It is the same pose. She's Shy Lily's art mom? No way. Oh yeah, I remember Riku talking about this last week. If I recall correctly, the time-lapse has leaps where details suddenly appear. That is so strange. Yes, it is. So during the stream, the copier was watching and took the whip to take it for themselves, basically. Kind of crazy to know you can't stream in, like, frame 1. Biggest concern was this one, which was gonna be an adoptable. This base model is heavily copying my Shy Lily's model, and the outfit, hair, and are taken from the new outfit I'm making her during my stream. This outfit hasn't even debuted, it's being stolen, it's beyond me. Adoptable will come with a half-body illustration. It's getting turned into an adoptable? Wait, this is concerning. But maybe are people okay with artists streaming stuff that hasn't debuted yet? Oh, that's it. Okay, so that's the adopt, and this is the model. So there's the jacket. There's not the cutout on the chest. The jacket is similar. It's hard to see with such a small area. I'm getting a DM about them every couple of weeks max. I haven't been replying because I was trying to forget about it, hoping they just move on with the copying. Rather, they post time lapses in the attempt of proving they can do it themselves. The sad thing is, yes, I can see they're capable of drawing. I just wish they did it without benefiting of my own work. Sadly, the response is not owning up to the blatant tracing proofs, only again it's being masked as inspiration, study, referencing. I really wish they were honest about it and admit it, but at least the message seems to have gone through, and hopefully they'll take action. I want to thank you all for replying very respectfully and in a civil manner, even though the topic can be enraging and frustrating. This sucks because this is gonna be somebody else's outfit, and this is gonna get released. This is released before them, so that is worrying. Collectibles can be rig ready as well. Oh, there's more. This one was one of the most obvious. She posted it 2 days after you posted yours, not even trying to be subtle. Oh, that's the new one. It's the old one. The art style is different. It's not tracing, it's heavily referenced, but it's clear that it's almost like a copycat, like, you know, you're getting observed, like somebody's always looking at the stuff you do, and that is an uneasy feeling. Interesting. Yeah, it is creepy. It is creepy. It's still stealing. Like, if somebody, yeah, you can do that with somebody's content too. Looks like the anatomy is directly traced. You mean the lower body? Oh yeah, the upper shoulder. The proportions are like, this is bigger, or closer at least. This is more zoomed out. Actually, yeah. Oh wait, it's hard to see when they do this montage, but it does look like the body is traced. The thing is, the color palette is also very similar. The outfit. The problem is that they're selling it too. So yeah, you know, just what Riku said is true. Just have a few artists you're gonna reference from. That way you're not copying somebody. It's okay to look up to other artists, especially bigger ones, but when you only have one inspiration, it's very obvious where it comes from. Why not just make their own? Some people get really lost in the sauce when they really like admire somebody. And maybe there's some insecurity in it. Maybe they don't notice what they're doing. Not sure. Yeah, they don't have their own ideas. I wonder if it comes from a place of insecurity. I feel like if the artist if the person you are copying comes up to you and tells you, hey, I don't feel comfortable with this, I think this is too similar, I think that my first response would be, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I'm gonna change things. But for some reason, people always push back. When I probably wouldn't mind AI to, yeah, I think it's better to trace AI for sure than tracing over somebody else's work. This the AI is generated from scratch. Okay, but I've seen artists being exposed for tracing over AI or using AI as reference, so I don't know, art scene seems hella gatekept. Well, yes. Yeah, I know, but I still think that's better. I mean, just don't get Pikachu's surprise face when someone takes your stuff on the internet. That's just how it is. Yeah, you got a point, but it's still wrong. It's like, in a perfect world, we leave our doors unlocked, but we don't live in a perfect world, so we should keep our doors locked so robbers don't go in. Now, should we still blame homeowners for getting robbed? No, there's part of the blame that has to be on the robber themselves. They're the one pushing the boundaries. They're the one trespassing. They're the ones taking other people's things. Tracing is tracing and referencing is referencing. If it's tracing, there is no copyright associated with it. Referencing has no boundaries. The tracing is definitely more morally wrong. The referencing, you have to be... There's a lot more parameters that make it wrong. Like, somebody could... Like that reference one in the bottom there, it could be alright, but maybe not. If another VTuber had this mascot, and I'm like, I'm making this mascot on the right, then the first VTuber would be like, well, what the fuck? You almost copied my mascot. It's not different enough. You need to make it your own. It kind of depends what you're using it for. If it's for your commercial activities, you're kind of really pushing the line there.